What is going on, my super sandwiches? Rob's here, and I'm joined by my two very special, awesome guests, ZZ Toasty and Qaaman. And today we're going to have somewhat of a controversial video because we're going to be discussing beam struggles in Dragon Ball Xenoverse. Now, both me and Toasty feel the same way about it, which is why we're going to tear it a new asshole. But we have Qaaman here, who's making his debut, talking about Xenoverse, who's going to basically give us points to why he believes that struggles are important in the Dragon Ball Z culture. And we'll just, we'll get there when we get there. But for right now, Toasty, you want to start us off as to why struggles are not that big of a deal in Xenoverse. In case you haven't heard, beam struggles will not be in Dragon Ball Xenoverse. The way it's going to work is if two keys clash, the stronger way wins. So if your Kamehameha is slightly more charged than your opponent's, you're going to win. If you fire an ultimate attack like a Final Flash versus the super attack Kamehameha, then the Final Flash will win. That's just how it works. It's more automated because everything in this game is real time. There's nothing cutscene related that happens in fights. However, there are still cutscenes in the actual campaign, so I just want to point that out because a couple people I saw saying that I said cutscenes are not in the game, but they actually are still in the game, just part of the campaign. But the actual fight, when you are fighting whoever you're fighting, there's not going to be times where it stops in the middle of the fight to do a cutscene style attack or whatever. But, Toasty, start us off. Why are beam struggles not that big of a deal?
Alright, so I made a video about beam struggles a while ago and I talked about what I think about them, and I honestly do not think they are incredibly needed. It's something that obviously, it's a bonus. It's something that's cool for a DBZ game if you buy it and everything, but at the point, if a beam struggle is actually going to cripple the game or handicap the gameplay to where it either is not fun or it just doesn't work with the type of game that it's trying to be, like Xenoverse is really like, I guess that you could say the first one. I guess Tenkaichi would be the first one technically. That's trying to keep you in control the entire time, and they don't seem like they want you to have to like stop the battle just to twirl your stick around. And I don't have a problem with this, mainly because for me specifically, beam struggles barely ever happen. They happen once in a blue moon, so I don't really care. It's not really a huge deal. Okay, so if I use a Final Flash against just a normal Kamehameha, I win because that makes a lot more sense. Super Kamehameha against a normal Kamehameha, I win, makes a lot more sense. It did the same thing in the Raging Blast series, and I believe the BT3 series as well. If an ultimate went up against Super Attack, the ultimate attack would always win. Although, I don't think that having a super attack versus super attack instantly means, oh yeah, dude, you instantly now have to swirl your stick. I don't think it's needed, and if it's something that's going to cripple the gameplay, like they said it's going to in Xenoverse, especially for the way that Xenoverse is trying to be real time all the time, I don't think it'll work, and I don't think that it should be put in the game. So that's it. I don't think it's needed. It's just
like beam struggles to me are just annoying. But here's the thing I like about Xenoverse. Xenoverse is the first Dragon Ball Z game where you're truly going to have a skill factor where you can become good, and to lose a fight because someone can twirl a stick faster than you is annoying. Like I want to be able to whoop you because I'm like better than you. Like I want to be able to like crush my opponents, whether it's an NPC or someone online, because I've literally mastered the game and gotten good at the game. But to lose because I'm not in control because I'm on a cutscene watching a beam struggles clash and someone's twirling a stick faster than me, I think that it's stupid. Yeah. The other thing is it's also a waste of time. Like don't stop the battle. Like you imagine this: you're having a very dynamic fight, going back and forth, doing a really awesome recreated battle where everything is just going crazy. There's a crowd behind you cheering because the fight was so epic that everybody in the house circle around you, and all of a sudden the battle stops. So you guys can like do a beam struggle. Like it's just not as dynamic. Like I want to be able to control the whole time. Yeah. I want to be able to create a crowd. Like I want to be hyped. I don't want to get calmed down because of a struggle. Now, obviously, a lot of you guys don't really care too much that struggles have been taken out. We've both been reading our comments, but there's still a lot of people that really love beam struggles, and we don't really understand why. So if you are the type of person who absolutely loves beam struggles and you're highly upset that beam struggles have been taken out of Xenoverse, let us know why. Like, what is the big deal that's so cool about beam struggles? Now, it looks cool. Here's the thing. I'll tell you right now. It looks kind of cool seeing struggles go back and forth, and it's part of Dragon Ball Z culture technically too, because obviously you got Goku and Vegeta's big epic Galagan versus Kamehameha that happened in the Saiyan Saga. Of course, you got the amazing Super Kamehameha between Gohan and Cell that happened in the Cell Saga. It's part of Dragon Ball Z culture, but end of the day, in a fight, I want to be in control. I just want to be able to play the game and just do X, Y, Z and win the fight. I don't want to be left out of control because I have to wait and twirl my stick around, which also hurts, by the way. If you have to do beam struggles every couple seconds, it freaking hurts your hand and stuff. On top of that, it breaks controllers. This is a bonus. But of course, we do have Qaaman here, who's going to give us his side of the story because he obviously loves beam struggles in the previous games. So go ahead and break us down why you think they're important and why you are slightly upset that they're not in the game. Like, break that down for us.
Well, I just first like to start off by saying, alrighty guys, it is Qaaman here today, just just to put my just to put me in the video. But honestly, my problem really comes from history, because like you said, like, beam struggles are kind of a part of Dragon Ball Z culture, and like we've been so raised on having beam struggles in all of the previous games. I felt that it was slightly a bit of a letdown. Now, you make great points about, when we were off the air talking about, obviously having 2v2s and 3v3s, it kind of makes it complicated to have a beam struggle going on while two people are going around. So I kind of thought that it would be a good idea to try to mix both. And what I mean was, whenever two players entered a beam struggle, I thought that maybe the creators can put it in a way where you could jump in with your friends. So here's an example. So let's say me and Rhymestyle are on different teams, and it's me, Black and Fist, and Thundershot versus Rhymestyle, ZZ Toasty, and random Black Gamer. And like, I get into a beam clash with Rhymestyle, and then like Thundershot and Black and Fist, who were fighting you guys, like they jump in and like we all get into like this big huge energy clash, and I thought that would be really cool. But at the same time, I understand that, that could be a little bit, I guess you could say, redundant, in the sense that if you keep doing beam clashes over and over again, which they're bound to happen, it kind of makes it hard on your hands, and it kind of makes it hard for the game to do it over and over again.
Just to counter that point, why that wouldn't work, what happens if you and Black and Fist are having beam struggles and I blast one of you guys?
Well, that wasn't the point, though. That's
what I'm saying. That's like the broken part. That's why they couldn't do a live, real-time beam struggle with teams on the ground. Because think of it this way: say I trap you in a beam struggle, and then Toasty hits you with a Big Bang attack. Then you get up, I trap you another beam struggle, Toasty hits you with another Big Bang attack. You get up, I hit you with another beam struggle, Toasty hits you with a Big Bang attack. Now you're just throwing this endless loop where you're just basically, you can't do anything. You're just stuck doing these beam struggles while the other teammates, every time they see you going beam struggle, you're left wide open for an attack. That's why they couldn't do it. But it's as far as real time.
But Rhymestyle, that's not necessarily what I meant in terms of the struggle itself. What I meant was, I mean, I understand what you were saying earlier about, they don't want to have like cutscene type attacks. But I'm saying for beam struggles, I thought they could potentially make an exception while having, let's say like you guys were kind of forced to jump in and help your friend who's in the beam struggle. That's what I was saying. So everybody's involved in the beam struggle instead of...
I thought you meant that you get to actually jump in if you wanted to.
No. We're all jumping in to help each other. So it's like a 3-man beam struggle versus another 3-man beam struggle. And I thought that'd be really cool. Like an ultimate blast.
What I will say about that is that would be really cool to see the first couple times. But then it would get redundant because like the fights would always get interrupted. Like if I'm fighting, Toasty, and I do a beam struggle, and then you guys are also fighting, you're fighting Black and Fist, Thundershot is fighting random Black Gamer. Next thing you know, I start beam struggling with Toasty, and now your fight and Thundershot's fight is all of a sudden canceled because you have to now join our cutscene. Now all of a sudden, it's cool, whatever. First time it happens, it's cool, it adds to the fight. But all of a sudden now, you and Thundershot go into beam struggle. Now me and Toasty have to jump into your fight, random Black Gamer and Black Fist have to jump into your fight, and it just starts this endless chain where inside of a single battle, it could be nothing but beam struggles over and over again, and now you as a player are completely thrown out of being able to stay in control. So that's the problem with that, is now beam struggles are being spammed and they are taken away from the gameplay. Because remember, the reason why beam struggles are not in this game is because Bandai Namco and Dims, they want us as players to be in control the entire time in the fight. Like they want to, like if you want to fight, you win because you're good. You win because you train. You win because you have proven to be the best fighter in that arena right there. Like, this is what they're giving us in this game. Like, we get to be as strong as we want to be. Like, that's the whole thing. Like, there's no luck here. You don't win because you're spinning a stick. You don't win because you're, just spamming cutscene attacks over and over again. You win in Xenoverse because you're actually good. Because you want to be good. And that's what they're giving us with this game. That's why beam struggles aren't a part of the game. And that's why me and ZZ Toaster agreed that, the decision that they made is a good decision.
Yeah. Like, I can see a lot of people commenting and saying, oh, they should have just done it like Budokai 3, where it's just like, it's still like happens in somewhat in real time as to how you're doing it. Like, it doesn't like cut away to you and the other person like it does in Tenkaichi, although Budokai is still a 2D game, and transitioning from that to 3D, first of all, it wouldn't be as good because you're not seeing it from the side view, you're seeing that from the back of your character or whatever like that. So first of all, that wouldn't work out. It would either just be you seeing the back, your own back, as well as shooting it at the other person if they were not to use cutscenes during these beam struggles. So it would, first of all, it wouldn't even look that great if they were still going to be focused on the real time thing. And if not, then it would be, I guess, okay. Although the problems of people running into the beam struggle and all that stuff will still like come into play, especially since this is the first real DBZ game pretty much that has put multiple people, more than 2 people on one team on the actual battlefield at once.
Yeah, what do you think about that?
Well, honestly, I don't disagree with him at all. I mean, you're right. I guess the Budokai, the original Budokai Kamehameha Clash kind of had a somewhat good system where it was kind of real time, and that's kind of how I was thinking it. Like, we all jump in, but I mean, I kind of see Rhymestyle's point where it just, I mean, I don't think what I'm saying is wrong. I just kind of see Rhymestyle's point where he says it can be redundant. Like, having like 6 or 7
you were not
beam
wrong at all.
struggles.
You were not wrong at all. Like to see like what you suggested would be cool to see. It would get redundant over time.
Right.
Now the big question a lot of people have asked is, well, what about 1v1s? Why are they taking away from 1v1 when they could easily just cut out in 2v2, 2v3? Well, here's the question: is if they add something into one mode, the way software development is, sometimes you have to add it into another mode. Otherwise, you kind of take away from the resources of the game overall. So, like for example, if let's say beam struggles existed in 1v1, how would it function in 2v2 and 3v3? It's like there's that technological barrier that a lot of people haven't really thought about when they started complaining the beam struggles were in the game. So that's also something else to kind of think about as well.
Well, also I wanted to point out one more thing though that you brought up, which is pretty good, is that you make a good point saying that if you have 3 people who are fighting each other, I mean, you gotta multiply the chances of a beam struggle. Like, in a 1v1, alright, there's a decent chance of it happening. But if 3 people are fighting and shooting Kamehamehas and Gallic guns at each other all the time, that's multiplying the frequency that they're gonna happen. So I can see why they took it out. Honestly, I think it would be cool. I'm kind of neutral on the issue. I would have liked beam struggles, but I understand why it's not in the game. That's kind of my approach on this whole issue here.
Gotcha. And as a wild guest, I've summoned Thundershot into this, so you can give us an opinion too.
Hey, what's up, everybody? What am I giving an opinion on?
He just came in he just came in instantly. I wasn't prepared. I was like,
transition. He instant
I
transition.
came in like a
video.
wrecking ball.
So we just got done discussing why beam struggles are not that big of a deal in Xenoverse. Both me and Toasty understand why it's not in it, and we're not really big fans of it. Qaaman likes it, but he understands why it was taken out. So now you're the wild card. You haven't really heard anything we talked about, so it's like, how do you feel about it?
I'm probably going to take a stance similar to Qaaman here because, like, it is huge. Like in the TV show and the movies, everything. Beam struggles are ginormous, and in a way, a lot of people I think feel like they need to happen. And as a Dragon Ball Z fans, I think we kind of expect them to happen. However, from a gaming standpoint, whether I'm rolling the R stick as fast as I can, or whether I'm mashing a button as fast as I can, or whether I'm playing rock paper scissors to see if I can win this one, that's kind of annoying. I mean, because like I have a buddy who like I am better than him, up, down, every way, shape, and form at video games, but he can outmash me to hell and back. I don't know why, but he can.
You know what's funny? The beautiful part about what you just said, we kind of covered. So now you basically kind of like solidified everything that was said in this video.
Yeah, and he will beat me at beam struggles 10 out of 10 times. He can out button mash me to hell and back, and that's annoying to me as someone like, because that's something that you can only get so good at as a person. I mean, unless I just stay at home button mashing all day. But
because what we were talking about is how like the whole purpose of this game is to be as good. Like you are as good in this game as you want to be, but to like lose a fight because someone can throw a stick faster than you, it sucks. It'll be annoying.
I like that's also part of what makes it epic, because if you with someone you're playing with online, you both have really minuscule health, Vegeta throws Final Flash, your Goku you throw a Kamehameha Wave, that's epic, that's really cool, and to have those cancel out and then have to have some kind of follow-up punch is kind of a letdown. I could see why people would be upset. Would it ruin Xenoverse for me if beam struggles don't end up making it into the final game? No. Would I prefer them? Honestly, I don't even know. It depends on how they would make the beam struggles, to be honest.
Well, they just wouldn't really work. So what we're talking about is the main reason why beam struggles are not going to be in the game is because there's 2v2 and 3v3 in the game. So in 1v1 it would make sense, but say there's a fight between us four. So I'm beam struggling with Toasty. What happens to you guys? Do you guys just like, since Toasty's wide open, do you guys just Final Flash him over and over again? Like there's a bunch of like factors that people don't really think about when it comes to how beam struggles would actually function in a multiple team environment, and that's why they're not in the final version of the game. That's why
yeah,
they're
'cause-
automated. Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't want to be in a beam struggle battle with someone in online multiplayer. If, like, let's say me and you are on opposite teams, and I beam struggle you. Well, Qaaman's on your team, and while me and you are beam struggling, he comes up, he fires a Kamehameha wave in my face. I'm mid beam struggle with you. Like, that's gonna mess me up.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though,
Qaaman, yeah,
Thundershot. I guess I'll say it
tell,
really.
tell him your idea. Yeah, tell him your idea.
What I was saying is, let's say, you know, you, Black and Fist, and I are on one team, right? And, you know, Rhymestall is on the team with ZZ Toasty and Random Black Gamer. And let's say I got into a Kamehameha clash with Rhymestall. Then you and Black and Fist are kind of like forced to jump in, and like we all get into like this triple big beam blast.
Like in the
That's
beginning of
what
the Tenkaichi 3 opening?
Kinda like that. So that's what I was thinking, like, you know, like everybody gets involved in the beam clash. That's what I was thinking was the best idea, but Rhymestall found the one only problem with that is just that it would just be too frequent, because if 3 people are shooting beams at each other through the whole game, the frequency of that would just be too much to make it a little bit redundant.
Yeah.
I think it would have to be 2 ultimates.
Well,
Since like
are,
if you're running Super Saiyan, you really only get one other ultimate. So
yeah, but
I
ultimates are a little too easy to do as Mac, especially if you're well, not especially if you're Super Saiyan, but ultimates are kind of easy to do as a game.
Yeah.
Now, if they had the same ultimate system like in Battle Z, where you can literally do only one ultimate once in a blue moon, which was terrible, I guess like, you could probably incorporate a team beam struggle like that. But
I want to. I just want to.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go right ahead.
no, go ahead.
I just want to. I'm reading. I was just reading this comment on my video of it saying beam struggles add authenticity to the game, man. Just like dealing terrain damage and character damage. If this game is going to be super epic, I need everything I saw in my anime in this game. Although, if it starts crippling the gameplay, it doesn't matter how close it is to the show, because then the game is broken and something that you don't want to play. If the game is fun to play and it's a game that's based off Dragon Ball, that should be a bonus. It shouldn't be something that's like, oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
If it has this in the anime, it's not in the game. The game sucks. I'm not buying it. It's the worst. I'll never buy it. Battle of Z is better. Buying that again. It's like, that doesn't make sense.
I mean, you know, to an extent, I mean, we are getting like Dragon Ball Z game to the fullest. In a way, like, think about all like the filler and like talking that they had in fights. It'd almost be like if they put those in the fights. Like, there's a reason that those aren't in the fights. Those would be boring for a fighting game or wouldn't work well. And in a very stretchy extent of the way, it's kind of the same thing with beam struggles. If they don't add anything good to the fight or they don't work well, it's probably better off just not to have them.
Yeah. The thing is, though, is you have to respect Dimps and Bananako for his decision, because they could have given us beam struggles and not cared. Because think about it, beam struggles would have made fights redundant and annoying, and over time, Xenoverse will probably last 6 months. They want this game, as I said earlier, they want this game to last 2, 3, 4 years in terms of lifespan. Like, they don't want to give us this game and not care about it tomorrow. Like, they're giving us an actual game that they see us as a community playing for a very long time, and that's why they're very careful about every single decision that's being made when in going to this game's final creation. So.
That's why they have so much replayability with all of the character creation stuff. Like, they want you to play this game for a long time. They don't want you playing this game for like a very short time. They're like, okay, I'm bored. I can't do it.
You guys remember Battle Z?
Battle of Z,
man,
Raging Blast
cool.
2 kind of had that sort of thing as well, because like there was not a lot of shit. It was like not a lot of stuff to do, and yeah. Like, I'm telling you, everybody watching this video, you're going to be playing Xenoverse for a very long time. Like, if you're mad that beam struggles aren't in it, just give it a chance. If the demo comes out, play it. I guarantee you that you're not even going to notice the difference.
I have one quick question though, Rhymestall, or Thundershot, or ZZ Toasty, whoever can answer. Is it possible, like with like an update on the game, that they can somehow input it for future use? Just asking.
I mean, they technically could, but it will require a real. Well, no, I doubt they would, because they would change the dynamic of the game completely unless they figure out the right way to do it. Now, again, they could theoretically, they could add it in a 1v1, and then in multiple team matches where it's 2v2, 3v3, it would just be, you know, cancel out the way it works right now. They could add it in 1v1, but it's just based on the time that they have and the resources that they have, they're not
looking likely.
Yeah. But they
See,
could
I
do
think
it
it would
later.
be cool if they
later.
did manage to add it in a 1v1, and then it would. This is the part that would be like hard to incorporate, and that I don't think they'd be able to do, but it would be super cool. Is if the 2v2 or 3v3 fights, people slowly get eliminated. So if it came down to a 1v1, if they could find out how to turn it back on in that scenario, I think that would be cool. But once again, it's a stretch to think that they could pull that off, especially with their remaining time. But that's just an idea.
Yeah. And the other thing is you have to think about it is they want the experience to be the same in 1v1, 2v2, and 3v3. Like they don't want one to be favored over the other. Because then now you create a paradox of just people complaining. What's like, well, what about in 1v1? Why can't I do beam struggles over here but not in 2v2 or 3v3? Why are you not giving us the same game, Bandai? Like that's exactly what they're trying to avoid. Like the experience has to be the same across the board, and that's why they just decided, you know what? We'll add beam struggles the automated way. So if you want to beam struggle with your friends, you better hold circle longer when you charge up the Kamehameha.
Yeah,
it's all about holding the button now.
See, that's actually like you have to like. It's kind of like playing chicken, I guess. Like having to like guess how long someone's actually gonna hold out their Kamehameha for. Because if it does the exact same time as you, then it's gonna cancel out. But if not, and you do it more, they do it more, you're gonna get hit. So you actually have to like think about that. Also, just think about it. This game's engine is a modified Street Fighter 4 engine. So do you have the beam struggles in Street Fighter 4? Nope. So
nope.
You shouldn't care. So get over it. Just kidding. But still, like, even though they're in the anime, they're really cool. I'm not gonna say that beam struggles are not cool. They're awesome. They're awesome in a lot of the DBZ games. Although for this game in particular, this game is different from every other DBZ game. No matter how much someone tries to tell you it's Battle of Z, it's not. It's actually a completely different game than every other game before it in DBZ franchise. So just think about it like that. It's in this sort of game, it will not technically work for beam struggles unless they like really tweak the game to work with it.
Which is going to be almost impossible. But just trust me, what they're giving us is awesome. So be excited about it. Be excited, guys! Everybody's watching this video. I want you to yell right now. Actually, don't do that because you might get in trouble. But that wraps up pretty much our discussion. So we want to hear from you guys now, to people who watch this very long discussion about beam struggles and how they're important or not important. Let us know how you feel about it now that you kind of know this good information. Like, are you still on the side that beam struggles are very important and you want this in this game? Or do you now kind of agree, like, okay, now I get why they're not, important. So let us know in the comments below. And of course, check out everybody's channels, linked in the description. Do you guys want to say any last final words before we leave? Thundershot, go!
Thanks for inviting me. I came in a little late to the party, but thanks for
letting me come here.
I saw Thundershot pop it up. I was like, you know what? I'm about to add you right now. Just get ready to debate. Toasty, you want to say anything else?
Nope. Just thanks for watching. Just remember, beam struggles are not that big of a deal. Not as much as you think they are. Not yet. They're not as big.
And Qaaman.
Oh,
Qaaman,
I know exactly why you saved me for the last.
You get the outro. You get the outro.
Everyone's got to prep for this one.
Yep.
Everybody who's watching, I have a message for you. Please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe.
Acapella version.
And remember, as I always say, in every single video, to have not just a good, not just a bad, not a mediocre, but a great day, guys.
Oh, that's it.
Jason Derulo.
See you guys. Peace.
Peace.